Hi, my name is Mark Latender, and today in VTA I'm going to show you how to import a roster to your scheduled event. This can be done quickly from the Schedule Events roster tab. You're just going to click Import, choose your file, you'll see it upload, you'll run the import, and VTA will tell you how many were added and how many could not be added, and possibly why. In this instance, the class was full. So since that was a little quick, let's go ahead and go over some of the rules and how you can use your import tool. First, you're going to need to download your import template. And to do that, right back on the roster grid, when you start the import process, you'll see that there's a link there to download your template. You'll save it locally, rename it, and now you need to populate it. A couple key things about the import template is one, do not add, rearrange, or retitle the columns. The program's going to look for specific column titles in specific orders. Number two, don't save it as an XLSX file. Keep it as XLS. That's the type of file that the program will work with. If you by chance save it as an XLSX, the system will let you know that right away. And you're going to see two ID fields in the import template. You're going to either use the ID field or the learner login ID field from the student's record. To get the information, a quick way would be to use your export tool on your student grid, or if you're in a multi-site system, you might use the Find Student tool because that will go across sites. To load your template, just be sure to not overwrite any formatting that you might have in the template. Here I've got the student grid export file, and I'm just going to copy the IDs that I need, and then I can go into my import template and either right click and choose Paste Special Values, or I can choose Paste Special and select Values and click OK. That way I know no formats will be overwritten. So you can choose whether or not you want to use the student's ID or their learner login ID. You do not have to populate a name. That is just there to help you track whose record it is. Next, you have to put in a status. And you can check the online help for all the status values that you have available. If they're going to be attending, you should put them with an A. If you are going to load people to waitlist, put in a W. You'll notice here that there is a waitlist priority. And what that means is, if somebody cancels on the session, this person would be the next person to get enrolled into the session. At this time, because it's scheduled, you may not know this information, but if you want to, you can add a grade, a completion date, a certificate number, the credit hours to override the hours set on the session, if you want to charge them or not, what is that charge amount, and what charge code should be used. But to load the template, all you need is one ID and a status value. Other things to keep in mind during the schedule import: as records are processed, waitlisting will happen, and that waitlisting will be based off of the maximum students set on that session and the maximum number of students allowed on the waitlist. Conflict checking will also happen, so if the student's already enrolled for that course, or if they're enrolled for something else at the same time, they won't be allowed to be added to the roster. It'll also do prereq checking. So if you're trying to enroll somebody and they do not meet the prerequisites for that course, they will not be enrolled. And of course, after all your work is done and your students are imported, they will be sent an email notice. So I'm going to go back to the schedule and run my import process. I've got a couple sheets that are already preloaded. And I just want to demonstrate what might it look like if you did have bad data in your import spreadsheet. It'll recognize what's wrong and tell you which values you need to correct. If I were going to try to load folks, and you can see here my maximum number of students is set to 30 and the maximum number I can enroll onto the waiting list is 5, and I've got 60 people on my import spreadsheet, and some folks already exist VTA is going to process all that information. So with my import file uploaded, it's going to run the process. It's going to let me know who had a scheduling conflict and that students were not enrolled because the class is full. If I look, I can see the folks that I wanted to have set as wait are now set as wait. And once I leave the session, my emails are sent. And that's how you import a batch of students to a scheduled roster in VTA. Thanks for watching.